America's overwork obsession. This is a very interesting topic because it is kind of true. Americans are kind of obsessed with working more than they probably should.
Before we get into this video, I mean, from what we know, in the US, it's extremely common to work 2 jobs.
Yep.
Some people might even get 3 jobs. I mean, if you're working like 80 hours, that's like considered 80 hours a week. People would be like, oh, yeah, well, you're working pretty hard. But it's not like they're like, holy nuts. Some people work like 120 hours a week sometimes.
It's also common for people when they turn 16 to get a job as they're going to school. So they're doing work after school and then doing their homework after work. So then it's just the entirety of the day is basically doing work.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in high school, I didn't work every day. I was very part-time, but the days I would work, I would go to school from like 7:30 to 2:30, and then my work would be at like 3 or 4, and that would go till 10. And if I want to get 8 hours of sleep, then I would have to go to bed immediately as soon as I got home.
And your household was more of like oh, you're 16, Isaac, time to get a job,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine was less like that, but I also had a job when I was 16, but it was only like twice a week for like an hour or two, so mine was very limited. But that's very common for kids to work all the time. But let's jump into this. Here we go.
This episode and others like it are made possible by the generous support of my patrons on Patreon. YouTube has demonetized almost all of my recent videos, so if you're able, please consider supporting this channel by
Oh
becoming
my
a patron.
gosh, that's kind of like us.
We just reacted to a video, and we got a violation for the content of the video that we were reacting to, the specific reaction. And that video is still on YouTube.
Yeah, so that's what we're dealing with.
At patreon.com.
Thanks for watching the video, guys.
Yeah. Hopefully there's nothing going wrong in this video. Oh no. He's got glasses, and glasses can turn into sharp objects, and that's not against...
Copyright strike. Community guideline strike. Just
The
showing what
less you
happens when
eat,
you're at
drink,
work.
and buy books, the less you go to the theater, the dance hall, the public house, the less you think, love, theorize, sing, paint, fence, etc., the more you
Yep.
save. The greater becomes your treasure which neither moths nor rust will devour, your capital. The less you are, the less you express your own life, the more you have, i.e., the greater is your alienated life. The greater is the store of your estranged being. Everything which the political economist takes from you in life and in humanity, he replaces for you in money and in wealth. All passions and all activity must therefore be submerged in avarice. The worker may only have enough for him to want to live, and may only want to live in order to have that. These words, penned by Karl Marx in 1844,
thought it was
are no
Karl
less
Marx.
true today than they were 170 years ago, and nowhere on earth do they ring more true than in the United States.
It's pretty crazy. I gotta just say right away that that's a quote from that book, basically saying the capital owners are making it so people have to work their entire life and never do anything for themselves and not see their family and not do anything they enjoy. And then people are like, that's the most evil book to ever
That's
exist.
communism.
It's very interesting.
Well, actually, I like autocracy.
Oh yeah, have you seen that one? Holy nuts.
As the wealthiest nation on Earth, the U.S. enjoys the privilege of looking down on the rest of the world as, quote, less successful, our people basking in the light of glorious American exceptionalism.
Hard
What we
Rock
fail to realize is
Cafe.
that our concept of success is not only narrow and short-sighted, but also fundamentally opposed to human flourishing. Our population as a whole may enjoy more wealth than some of our peer nations, but at what cost? Our waking hours are consumed by work, our life expectancy is on the decline, we rate poorly in metrics like happiness and job satisfaction, and those of us in the workforce today will never achieve the financial stability of our parents' generation.
Crazy.
In this episode, we're going to attempt to divorce the notion of success from the dogged pursuit of the accumulation of capital. Let's start with the core belief that animates many American workers, the idea of the American dream. A sort of national ethos, the philosophy of the American dream can be summed up something like this. Everyone has the opportunity for prosperity and success, regardless of their background and based solely upon their ability or achievement. It's very much a pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality, a phrase which is also very common in American life. The idea that one should be able to succeed without any external help, solely through one's own force of will and hard work. This
Of
notion
course.
is
Which, I mean, you get your stories of the occasional time that happens, but Nowadays, especially, there is so many things in place to stop you and have you run into so many roadblocks. You get a little unlucky one time and you lose everything, and now there's no social safety net to catch you.
A lot of people too, like their whole thing is, oh, I gotta go to school and get a finance degree so I can get a good job. But then once they get a job as like a banker or something like that, where do you go from there? They're obviously not gonna make you the CEO of the bank just because you worked extra hard.
I think they might. They might give you a promotion all the way up to store manager.
It's a family. We at this office are a family. If we're about to lose money, we're going to cut you off and take away your retirement, but we're a family until then.
Family.
It is interesting too, the pull yourself up by your bootstraps thing. Apparently that's like a phrase people used to say as like an impossibility. Like, oh, you might as well just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, like as if like, oh, when pigs fly type of thing. And then it's become a phrase.
The Ben Shabibo has muttered that multiple times.
It's pretty crazy.
Is of course absurd, and is made even more ridiculous by the fact that the phrase has been adopted by so many in a manner completely opposite to its original meaning. To pull yourself up by your own bootstraps is obviously impossible, and that was the original meaning of the phrase, to attempt something that is completely absurd. Of course, in America, nothing is impossible.
Yes, I mean, literally speaking, you cannot lift yourself. Even the strongest person
So
cannot.
we refitted the expression to better suit our dogmatic obsession with self-reliance. America is an interesting case study because, unlike many other countries, when settlers first arrived here, there seemed to be an endless expanse of land to explore and claim. This frontier lifestyle gave birth to the restless nature of the American dream. One governor noted in 1774 that the Americans forever imagine the lands further off are still better than those upon which they are already settled. He added that, if they attained paradise, they would move on if they heard of a better place farther west. This sums up the American relationship to work.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
Is never enough. We need to accumulate more and more
Unless
wealth.
you're the Dahmer party and they ate each other.
Oops. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stories from going out west.
It's very interesting to think that, like, the American dream, like, that's where it stems from right there. And then back then, it was probably true that if you were, like, brave enough, because going out into the Wild West was super dangerous, but if you were brave enough to go through and make it to California or Oregon, that you probably were going to live a much better life and have much more potential.
But it's like so much of a risk, and like all the like gold rush towns too. It's like you risk everything to get there, and then who knows if you even get anything out of it once you're there.
Yeah, and the point was like to do that, like they did it, and there's probably way more success stories back then, and now those type of things don't exist.
No, that's not like.
There's no magical place that you can just go, and if you go there first and you work harder, that you're going to become successful.
No.
Interesting. It's just kind of like the conservatism, just saying the same things over and over
Conserving
forever.
the ideology from when the country was founded.
Yeah.
Ever satisfied, ever striving. Over the last couple centuries, the American dream has evolved into what we see today. Work hard, save money, send your kids to college so they can live a better life than you did, retire to Florida. In a lot of ways, this is a noble goal. The desire for your children to live a better life than you did is what we should expect of ourselves. But more recently, over the past 50 years or so, the benefits of hard work have been stripped away, and the things older generations took for granted have all but disappeared. Jobs are harder to find and pay far less money than our parents were paid for comparable positions.
$7.25 an
Pension
hour.
plans and retirement benefits are rarely offered these days. We have some of the worst vacation and parental leave options in the world. Much of the economy has shifted to gig work, which doesn't have to provide health insurance or any other benefits. And domestic and global perception of the US is on a decidedly downward trajectory. But don't just take my word for it, let's look at a few statistics. Back in the 1960s, only 20% of American mothers worked. This was partly due to the perceived role of the mother as the primary homemaker and caretaker, but it was also largely because most households only needed one source of income to provide a financially stable and upwardly mobile.
What do you think the percentage is that he's going to say for mothers who work now?
Oh my gosh. Do you know any stay-at-home mothers?
That's what I was thinking. I don't think I know a single stay-at-home mom.
I don't either. Every person I can think
Even
of.
our grandparents work. Our grandmothers, a lot of our grandmothers work. Like, and that...
It can't be more than 10%.
No.
I can't think of one.
Life. Today, 70% of American children live in households where both parents are employed. Most
70%.
70%.
Interesting.
Is that not the Case in Minnesota? I literally can't think of one person. Anecdotal evidence for
Yeah.
us, but I can't think of them.
Yeah. Interesting.
Families simply can't get by on a single source of income. At least 134 countries have laws that cap the maximum length of the work week. The US does not.
Wait, how many did you say?
134 countries have
134? There's only 60 countries that don't?
And there's the entire continent of Africa?
Yeah, where they're like, probably is a modern day, you know?
have laws that cap the maximum length of
Can't
the
say
work
it,
week.
we'll get community
The
guidelines
US does
strike.
not. In the United States, almost 86% of men and over 66% of women work more than 40 hours per week. You've probably
More than
heard that
40,
Japanese
wow.
workers are some of the most overworked in the world. The average American works 137 more hours per year than the average Japanese worker. We work 260 more.
That's like a thing that people, that's like common knowledge in the US is like, hey, at least they don't work us as hard as Korea and Japan, but apparently it's way worse here.
Yeah, that's, I can see an extra.
3 weeks worth of full-time work.
Yeah, what the heck?
Japan's like the place where they work so hard, another word we're probably not allowed to say, hang.
More hours
Yeah.
than the British. We work 499 more hours than the French. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, productivity of the average American worker has increased by 400% since 1950. If we're producing value at 4 times the previous rate, that would mean we could earn a comparable living to our grandparents in 1/4 the work hours, right? Obviously, that's not the case. We're working longer hours.
So our minimum wage should be 4 times then? So it should be like 21 bucks?
Yeah. And in New York and California, it should probably be way more.
Yeah, those places are so productive compared to other places too.
It's so crazy to think about that. Like I always think of jobs that are like super automated now, especially like banking where they don't have to like count bills or anything. Imagine how much more efficient the workers are in those jobs specifically, like 1,000 or more times more
Easily.
productive. And they're making, based on like the average wages in the United States, they're making the same amount of money that people made at those jobs 40 years ago.
Probably like, I mean, before computers, they were literally probably just one boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
boop, 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 like this. And now they're just typing on a computer and they do that all in like seconds.
Crazy. The bank's making way more money
They can build 30 skyscrapers in a city.
and the workers are not making any more. Crazy. And they get 2 weeks of vacation a year.
Whereas at a
I'm sure we'll hear about that here, the
I'm-
PTO.
I'm
increased
sure.
rate of productivity, but we don't benefit from that labor. Well, at least we're rewarded with generous vacation and parental leave. Oh, wait, no. We have the worst rankings in the developed world, and worse rankings than many third world countries. Among 41 studied nations, the US ranks dead last in terms of paid parental leave. We are the
Dead
only nation
last.
out of those 41 that does not mandate some amount of paid parental leave.
Mexico.
For comparison, the smallest amount of paid leave required by the remaining 40 nations in the study is about 2 months. 2 months of paid leave in the US is unfathomable. In 34 of the 41 countries, some of the leave is allocated for new fathers. There's a reason we only ever hear the phrase maternity leave in the US, and that's
I mean, like, dang. When I was working at McDonald's when I was 16 years old, if I wanted to call in sick, they were like, oh, you don't sound that sick. We can just put you behind the grill.
Put a sick person behind the grill making everybody's food.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
insane.
because new fathers are never eligible for leave in order to spend time with their child. Some countries that rank higher than the US include Mexico, Greece, Croatia, even our fellow workaholic Japan. Estonia
Wow.
offers 86 weeks of paid parental leave. Again, the
Whoa.
United States offers
Estonia.
nothing.
Estonia was dang the enemy of the United States until the Soviet Union fell.
Yeah.
And they're dang doing better than the US. Look at that.
There are 0 industrialized nations on Earth that don't have a mandatory option for paid parental leave, except the US. Vacation and sick time is a similar story. We don't have a federal law requiring paid sick days, nor do we have a law mandating paid annual leave. Once again, making us the only industrialized nation not to do so. Take a look at this graph. You might notice there's a bar missing. That would be the United States, not mandating any paid leave whatsoever. It's especially depressing when you realize that a McDonald's employee in Norway gets more vacation time than just about any American worker, regardless of
Oh.
field or salary. Meanwhile, in the United
How
States,
do you feel, 16-year-old you?
That would have been nice to get paid. I would have been like, oh yes, more Fortnite stuff or something. I don't know.
We
I could just take a day off and play Fortnite and spend the money.
abuse our low-paid workers and lambast them for being lazy and not finding a better job. It's no wonder that our
Crazy.
citizens consistently rank poorly for happiness and job satisfaction. They're being worked to death, are not offered any benefits, get no time off, and on top of that are abused for trying to earn a living. What's perhaps more disappointing than wealthy older people deriding low-paid workers is other workers in precarious positions doing the same. For example, take gig economy workers. While some of them are fully aware that their occupation is based on their own exploitation, there's a disappointing subset of people who buy into the notion of, quote, hustle culture. You'll see these people make inspirational Instagram posts, posting images of Jeff Bezos, using hashtags like rise and grind, and going on about how the key to success is to work all day every day until it pays off.
I gotta say, some of the cringiest stuff I see on YouTube is when I'm like on a shorts thing, and then you see some video about how like Jeff Bezos did this horrible thing to like his employees, and then people are like, "Oh, this is why I hate Jeff Bezos and billionaires." Then somebody replies, "Well, they worked hard for their money, so why should they give it to anybody else?" And you're just like, "Oh,
Wow.
you just ate up that propaganda."
Profits for a company are derived from underpaid workers.
You can't become a billionaire or a $1 trillion company without just completely exploiting your workers.
Yeah.
You can't. It's impossible.
Here's the thing. For these people, it will never pay off. Deifying rich people who accumulated their wealth by exploiting others or inheriting
He's a
vast sums
lizard.
of money doesn't make you smart.
Look at
It
those
means
green
Did they
you
eyes.
make
they're
him look more lizard-like there? He looks such like a lizard. He is not from this planet.
Even his lips are like,
propaganda. If you drive 15
his
hours
eyes,
a
they
day
made
for
his eyes
Uber, you
super
might make a
green,
bit
didn't
of
they?
money.
That has
Means
to.
you bought their
That's a lizard, man.
That is a lizard
propaganda.
man.
If you drive 15 hours a day for Uber, you might make a bit more money, but you don't have any opportunity for advancement. You're not suddenly going to get health insurance or vacation time because you're working hard. You're a piece of equipment to them. You drive the car, you make them money. That's all you're worth to Uber. But
It's proven because companies are already replacing
Yeah.
the piece of equipment of the human with a piece of equipment, a robot.
As soon as they have a unpaid robot that they can use, these people are gone.
this toxic idea that we need to give up hours, days, years of our lives as a sort of sacrifice to appease the gods of success is not only misguided, it's actively throwing away your life. Hustle culture destroys your work-life balance, and
That's a
those who
hustle guy
engage in
right
it see
there.
themselves
Also, 95% of the people promoting hustle culture make money off of it, so that's why they're promoting it. That's the way they make money. They sell their
Hustlers
course.
University.
Literally, he's so rich, so he's teaching all these other people how to do it. Oh wait, actually, he's earning his money from teaching how people how to do
morally
it.
superior to people working traditional jobs for a wage. These sorts of false divisions among the working class are exactly what the ruling class wants. The same is true of the false division between the working class and the so-called middle class. It's a meaningless distinction designed solely to make more comfortable workers feel superior to their lower-paid counterparts, and therefore at odds with their own best interests. If you feel superior to others, or see yourself more like the billionaires than your fellow workers, you'll never organize against your oppressors, because you believe you might one day become part of this upper echelon. If you just work a few more
Crazy that
hours
so
per
many
week,
people believe
surely
that.
you'll be rewarded and gain entrance into their elite club. America's cult of overwork destroys our collective imagination. It removes every possible motivation beyond the desire for the accumulation of more wealth. To many Americans, there is nothing but work and the possibility of eventual reward. Work is the only thing that matters. But there is so much more to life than what capitalism has conditioned us to pursue. If we worked fewer hours, we could take time to spend with family and friends. We could learn that hobby we've been putting off for years. We could write novels, produce art, create things that enrich the lives of others on a fundamental human level. We could take time to just exist. When was the last time you just took a day to relax and you
None. My existence is for my daddy, Jeff Bezos.
The grind.
didn't feel guilty about it? We're so conditioned to believe
Yeah,
that we
happy
should always
dog.
be working that even when we're not working, it's all we can think about. The American dream, the obsession that anyone can, quote, make it if they work hard enough, is thoroughly tangled up with the notion of American exceptionalism. We think it's because we work so hard that we are exceptional. And you know what? We are exceptional. We're the most overworked population on the planet. Our standard of living is going down. Our life expectancy is going down. We don't get vacation days, sick days, or time to spend with our newborn children. We're increasingly unhappy, our economy is teetering on the brink of the worst financial crisis in modern history. We can't protect ourselves from a pandemic that everyone else handled because we're so conditioned to believe that we always need to be working. And somehow we still believe that the American dream is a reality. So yes, we are exceptional, but we're exceptional in all the wrong ways. If we don't dismantle the oppressive structures that enable this culture of overwork, this is the only form of American exceptionalism that will ever exist. I mentioned
Wow. So, yeah, I mean, we've said most of our thoughts throughout the video. That's America. People eat up the propaganda more than anybody. They always talk about Chinese propaganda, and then they just swallow all of this propaganda endlessly on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok, just always just straight into their brain.
We always see that stuff and we're like, oh, this is so stupid. But at the same time, some of that propaganda is even seeped into our brains. Like when we go to Europe and we see a grocery store worker, then they get to sit on a chair and they're just boop, 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 boop. Or we come here in different parts of Asia and the vendor is just laying there asleep. We're like, oh, they're so lazy. Why are they lazy? But it's just the American grindset of like, oh, they have to be ready at all times to sell.
You can't escape it. We were taught this in school. We were taught about, they literally teach us survival of the fittest in the economy in school. Like social Darwinism is what they teach us in school, about how those who aren't strong enough should not be able to afford things. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so that's the US exceptionalism at sucking.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.